My father was a very stoic individual, and he didn't show a lot of emotion. I was, playing in the Paralympics, and then my wife tells me that they went to the supermarket to get some magazines. As it ended up, Volleyball magazine had a full-page picture of me, passing the ball, the whole page. And I was thrilled. I mean, I'd really never been in a magazine before, and I've only been on the team for 2 years, and I was somewhat of a rookie, and so they went. I said, well, why'd you go? And they said, well, your dad went to buy some extra magazines. I said, really? I said, okay, that's pretty cool. So they get to the checkout line, and my dad pulls the magazine out, and they're checking it out, and he opens it up and shows it to the lady. He said, hey, this is my son right here. So I just thought, that's a very fond memory of my father. I knew the support was always there, just he was never, I didn't realize he was that proud of what I was doing, let's put it that way. I knew he was proud of it. They all made t-shirts and everything else, but I didn't realize he was a very humble, quiet individual, and having him do that, somebody doesn't know, showing a picture to somebody in a magazine that, hey, this is my son, it's just, I wouldn't have expected it. The Paralympics, you meet so many different individuals, and they come from so many walks of life, and their income levels are so different, and of course, a lot of success in the Paralympics really depends on the medical advances that you're playing with, many times. So we were in the Olympic Village, and the Cambodians have the old wooden legs. It really wood shaped like a leg with a rubber foot on the bottom. So one time we were outside of the cafeteria, and they came over and they kind of pointed my leg, and they wanted to feel my leg because they never saw a leg made like that with the carbon fiber and the pistons and everything else, and how fancy it was. So then a couple of days later, we played them in a match, and of course, we were one of the better teams in the world, and Cambodians weren't, and they're not that tall of a team, and I played middle blocker. And for 2 years in a row, I was voted best middle blocker in the world. So it was funny. I went outside to double block on an outside set, and I went up to block, and the guy tools me off my arm and goes out of bounds. So I land, and I turn around and go back to my team for a huddle, and I feel it tugging like I can't move. And I'm like, oh, what's? And I turn around, and the guy is hugging me. He comes under the net, and he hugs me. And I'm standing there like this, and I got arms around me, and I'm looking. And I guess he was so happy he tooled the best blocker in the world, and he had to hug me. I don't know. And then so I go back to the huddle, and those guys were giving me the hardest time in our huddle. Oh, I've never seen anyone get hugged on the court before. He came out of the net. And and for years I heard about that. Well, I really enjoy restoring historic houses. I really like taking something old and making it look really good. And I've flipped houses before, but I have an old historic house, a 3-story house that me and my wife we worked on it together, and we restored it. It's built in 1905, and when we got it, it had leaks and the floors were bad and all kind of issues with it. So and it took us about 11 years or so to get it almost completely done, and it was. And then we also built a 2-story garage on top of that, next to it, and that took about a year or so to get it done. But I just enjoy working with my hands, carpentry, things of that nature.